I got fired for telling the truth. Here's what really happened. Hi, my name is Natalie Janine. I help corporate women land better paying jobs. So click the link in my bio. There's a lot of great resources for you. Let's really get into it. So, you know how we believe or we feel called to make our work offices better? Like we want to see everybody win. And if we see something that's not working, we want to share that information to make the office better. So let me tell you how I got this job that I was really excited for. I was working in government, primarily for politicians. And I saw this person running for office and doing the dang thing, and very unique in a way. So I started learning more about this person, following their campaign, went out on the trail with them to learn a little more about them, asking about them. One thing I'm going to do is research about the office, company, or person I'm going to work for. We spend a lot of time around work, whether it's commuting to and from work, meal prepping for work, at work, that's a lot of time. And so I want to make sure whoever I'm spending that time with, it's life-giving. Don't you too want to do that too? So I thought things looked great. Girl, I am bold. Let me tell you what I did. They won. And for me, I was like, yes. So I sent a congratulations card in my resume. You should hire me. Okay. And I was ready to take the next step in my career anyway. I was a fancy word for a receptionist. And I did that role for a while. Felt like I wasn't really growing and I was bored. So I was really looking for this next jump. And I was pitching myself for this jump. For whatever reason, I think ageism played a part in it. I will never know that. But I was the youngest person in the team and I was the constituent service specialist, a fancy word for receptionist. And I was like, dang, like, why am I having trouble going to the next level? I just didn't understand what I was doing wrong, what I need to do differently. Anyway, I took this role and it wasn't for me. In a sense, it's just the same thing. And I was already bored with that. But there were some new things, like I was doing event planning for a district that I lived in. So people that I felt closely tied to because we live in the same neighborhood or neighboring neighborhoods. And so I definitely wanted to make a difference. I lived in an area that did not have a lot of city resources. At the time, we barely had sidewalks. So it was like, there's a need out there, right? So I was very happy for that. But the day in, getting people's coffee, opening the door for folks, I was over that. I did that for a while. So I kind of was like to myself, why did you even accept the role? Like, seriously, like making these lateral moves will never serve us, especially when we've outgrown the role, because you're going to just get a new job, learn that new culture, the new way of being, and then within 6 months being bored. So anyway, it was kind of time for me to make this big leap. I was ready for that. Maybe 2 or 3 years before I took this role, I did a program that was helping me run for office. That was the big goal of mine. I wanted to be an elected official. I really wanted to make a difference for people that lived in my community. And I knew that I served enough time to know how to do that. Like when I tell you I was and am that girl, I was hosting events for the community within these buildings. There was a time when I hosted a Juneteenth event, and I'm almost certain this is why I got the job. And there was an older Black woman who came up to me and said, thank you so much for hosting this event. I didn't know this building was for us. This is the first time I've ever been in this building, and I'm from here. Now, ask me why. What is it? 8 years later, I remember this woman's statement. And I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. It is truly time for me to take the next step. So I was talking to my mentor at the time, and someone else had announced they were running and they were getting all these endorsements. And my mentor was like, you need to tell your boss so that you can start getting endorsements when it's time for you to launch your campaign. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell her. Well, as I was getting ready to tell her, someone else was in my ear. This is when you need your own discernment. You need to sit with yourself and understand what is the goal and why are you doing what you're doing. So someone was like, you saw room for improvement for the office, you should share that. I was like, I don't know if I should really share that information. And part of the reason why I didn't feel comfortable sharing it is because naturally, I think most of us avoid tough conversations. But I also don't think most people can hear a tough conversation. I think a lot of people struggle with tough conversations, and so we shy away from them, especially on the job. It's like, if I say this, am I going to lose my job? And so I was just like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, you really should. You're on your way out. Like, what do you have to lose? Girl. Remember that. So I had a meeting with my supervisor, and I was sharing how it's time for me to take this next step. They were already aware that I wanted to run for office. That was a big goal of mine. And I shared that, and in the same meeting, I shared some tips on how I thought our office could improve and better serve the people who got us into office. Of course, this is the response. I shouldn't say of course, because they could have responded differently. Thank you so much for sharing that information. I really appreciate that. Let's talk about it later. Cool. That evening, on my own time, we are all at an event together on our own time. Like, not together, but we see each other at this event. We kiki in. Hello, things are great. No signs of what I'm about to tell you. So I get not even a call from the office. I think it was HR letting me know that I no longer have a job, to bring whatever items I had and leave it on the bottom floor, and they were going to bring me my stuff on the bottom floor. I never saw that coming, and I was really hurt because I never said anything with the intent of being malice. I really want us to be better. I thought that we could grow, that we could do better for the public. So I was telling some of my colleagues and, professional friends, hey, like, I don't know how I got back on this floor. Like, maybe I was meeting for something or whatever. I saw some people. I was like, yeah, I got fired. Like, I shared this and that. And they're like, oh my God, you were in the wrong position anyway. Over 3 people shared with me how I should have had a different position that was better suited for the people who voted for us. Well, not for us, for them. And based on my experience. They confirmed what I knew several months ago. But for whatever reason, most likely I was like, I just need a new job. I settled. And so the biggest lesson I got from this, and what I want you to get from this video, is to never settle because you think you need something. My second piece of advice is be very intentional on what is your goal. Now, I have learned that I don't always have to share the truth. I could just keep doing my job, and when it's my time to leave. You don't have to share the truth, especially when they're not asking you for your opinion throughout your time there, or when you share a little something, they don't even take into consideration. What are we sharing our truth for? It just makes the environment worse in my case. And my third thing is to always choose yourself. Always choose yourself. Before I go more into this, if this video resonates with you, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment if you want to. It is so important that we choose a career path and jobs that resonate with who we are and what we want out of our lives. Baby, they will get rid of you in a moment. Baby, they will change things in a moment without your opinion or thoughts. And so it's very important that you're happy with the job you have. And technically, I wasn't fired. I was putting a 3 months notice in. But when I came back to work and they're like, nope, you don't have access. I was like, okay, let me get unemployment. Period. And when I got unemployment, it was looking for jobs. I was very careful to make sure the job I applied for was the job that I actually wanted. There was no more of me making these lateral moves. After that job, I was not a receptionist anymore, quasi. The reason why I say quasi is because I applied for this role and what it was presented on paper was very different. I got hired. That's cute though. But that was okay because I did that role for about a year and some change. I had learned a lot. I was growing. I was being challenged. So it wasn't just like I was, hello, thank you for calling so-and-so. Wasn't doing all that at all, actually. But I was doing some like receptionist work. And then my very next role was gold. And so I want you to know that there's a special role out there with your name on it. So you need to do whatever it's going to take that is in alignment with your values to get you there. Again, my name is Natalie Janine. I am so happy we are here and on this journey together. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you know you're ready to take your career to the next level and you've been trying all you know and you're still not there, hit one of those links in my bio. You can also have a call with me.